All right, thanks so much, Stella. Listen, even though it took place over 100 years ago, the fascination about the Titanic is still there. Let's check in with our Rick Campanelli, who is live from an exciting new exhibit. It's called Titanic, the Artifact Exhibition. It's in Toronto at Downsview. How cool is it being there, Rick?
Tim, this is absolutely amazing. For those of you watching who have even an inkling of curiosity or fascination about the Titanic and its fateful voyage, this exhibit is for you. And I want to call in the expert. This is Thomasina Ray, who is the president and director of collections for RMS Titanic Incorporated. So good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
And it's great to have all this here. So what can the people expect when they come visit this exhibit?
So this exhibition is something that we are so proud of. When people come, they're going to get the identity of a passenger that was in Titanic, and they're going to get to experience the entirety. So we've done expeditions to the wreck site, and everything they see here will be something that we've recovered from the sea floor, directly from Titanic.
You've actually done an expedition to the Titanic.
I've done an expedition last summer. We went and imaged the entire ship.
That's amazing.
We did scans using LiDAR, sonar, photography, and we're so excited about that. But this is where we are able to show off that research, including rivets. There were over 3 million rivets on Titanic. And so this is just a small selection of them, but we've even cut them in half where we've analyzed the metals used so that we can see if it contributed to the sinking at all. And that's one of the great things about this exhibit. It's the only place you're going to be able to see things directly from Titanic.
That is so cool. And I've got goosebumps because you've been down to the wreckage. How cool was that experience for you?
So the expedition was great. We actually monitored the ROVs, remotely operated vehicles, down at the wreck site from the surface. So
And your company is the only company that's allowed down there. You have the rights to all this stuff. Let's check out some other wings of the ship or rooms. Oh, watch your head there. Oh, look at this. This all looks familiar to me. Not that I was on the Titanic, but from the movie.
Exactly, and we love the movie because it's promoted a whole new generation of Titanic fans. And their commitment, James Cameron's commitment to accuracy is amazing. So this is our first class reproduction hallway. And you feel like you've boarded the ship now. You've gone from the construction, and now we're boarding Titanic.
B-52. Wasn't that Rose's room? Rose, are you in there? She's not gonna answer. No,
probably not today. She's out and about enjoying the amenities.
Take us into this next room right here.
Right, so this is where we start talking about the passenger experience on board. So you'll get to see some of the things that actual passengers interacted with on Titanic. There's tip basins and some of the faucets and some of the parts of the ship, but there's also some of the jewelry and some of the amazing things that people had in their luggage on Titanic.
Actual artifacts from the Titanic. This is unbelievable.
So, I mean, these precious metals, these gold chains and everything survive so well underwater. So these were on the ocean floor for decades. And we have some officers' buttons. So it's not just the passengers that we honor here, it's also the crew.
The crew, of course, From the jewelry to a toilet basin right over here. Look at that. That's an actual toilet.
That's an actual toilet because flush toilets were a new thing in 1912. So this would have been a big amenity and a big draw. Many of the third-class passengers had never seen a flush toilet before, so this would have been their first experience with something like that.
Jack didn't have one of those, I'll tell you. This is a gorgeous room. What's this right here?
This is a recreation of what a first-class cabin experience could have been like. It's got, the opulent furniture and these paneled walls. And when you were booking your cabin on Titanic, you could choose if you wanted a Georgian-style room or a French Provençal type of room. So you got to choose the style and really enjoy your crossing, because it's basically a hotel for like 5 or 6 nights.
That is a nice-looking room. We're down to a minute to go. Let's end off with a view that people their jaws are gonna drop like mine did when I first saw this. Look, we'll let them go first.
Okay.
Check this out. Oh my goodness, can you explain this?
This is the grand staircase. And this is obviously an iconic moment. This is a full-scale reproduction where you can experience what this room is. We have everything from Honor and Glory Crowning Time, which is the clock that was at the top of the staircase. It stopped at exactly 2020, which is the time the ship sank.
Wow. We've got 25 more seconds left.
Sure.
We're going to be back with you in the next hour. Where can people get more information if they want to visit this exhibit?
ExpoTitanic.com/Toronto for tickets.
Opens on Friday, this coming Friday the 27th, and goes for how long?
This will be open through January 10th.
This is absolutely incredible. I'm going to go do the rest of the tour. Tim, this exhibit is absolutely amazing. Goosebumps all over my body walking through this. You can do so as well starting Friday. I'm going to give you all that information, but I want to bring in the president and the director of collections for the RMS Titanic Inc. This is Thomasina Ray. Good morning.
Good morning.
You have brought something very cool to the city of Toronto. Let's walk and talk about what you've brought us.
Absolutely. We're super excited to bring this here because we have been recovering artifacts since 1987 directly from Titanic.
Wow.
And so now we're able to bring that to the public and share those artifacts and tell the story.
I love it. What do we have here, Thomasina?
This is actually a recreation. This is a third-class bunk right here. So they would have been dormitory style and people would have been roomed together. But these accommodations were luxurious for the time. This was better than most third-class passengers would have had on any other ship.
This is pretty nice in my mind. And I don't know if our viewers can hear, but I hear this constant hum. That would have been the boiler room, which would have been close to this level.
Yeah, the third-class passengers would have been on the lower levels where they would hear the steam engines working all day, every day, all the time, and the vibrations of the ship.
I'd want to get up to the party room and dance and dine. And this is the huge, one of the boiler rooms.
This is one of the boiler rooms. There were 11 boiler rooms on Titanic and 29 of these giant boilers that fed the steam engines.
Wow, 29 of these.
Yeah, so there were stokers in here 24/7, shoveling coal, tending the furnaces to keep Titanic powered and moving across the Atlantic Ocean.
You said 24 hours a day doing
24 hours a day, yeah. They worked in shifts, but it was dirty work. It was hot, uncomfortable. Yeah.
And what do we have over here?
So this is a watertight door shaft. Everyone remembers the watertight doors that shut the compartments very dramatically in the movie.
Yes,
This is one of the gears that would have done that. And so this is something that we recovered in 2000, and you can actually see how twisted and contorted the metal is and how it's been affected after decades on the ocean floor.
And this is what the doors would have looked like here. Wow.
Yeah, this is a recreation of what it would have looked like in place.
The watertight doors. This is such a cool exhibit. It starts this Friday.
Starts this Friday, so people will be able to come and experience what it would have been like from Titanic's construction all the way through their experience on board and then hitting the iceberg and the dramatic end.
And it's in town for a few months, right?
It's here and through January 10th, I believe, yes.
Okay, and this bell here would have given off a warning that bad things were about to happen.
Yeah, this is the crow's nest bell. This would have been part of their alert system to let them know that they had just seen a hindrance ahead, the iceberg ahead.
Wow,
so
that's the actual one.
Some of the drama around, the ice warnings that they were receiving all day and ignored.
Right.
Right. So they kept powering ahead.
Was that a fact? They were ignoring.
They were moving on ahead without heeding the warnings as much as maybe they should have.
They should have. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do we have in this room here? This looks amazing.
Yeah,
we really open up here.
This is where we really kind of show the chaos of the night of the sinking, but also the loading of the lifeboats. And this is a really dramatic moment. This is one of our largest artifacts is in this room. And this is one of the davit cranes that lowered the lifeboats over the side of the ship as it sank.
Wow.
And so this is a moment where you can stand directly next to a full-scale piece of Titanic and really understand what the passengers would have felt like that night with a full scale. This light on the floor actually shows the full dimensions of a lifeboat.
And how many of these would have been on the Titanic?
There would have been over 20.
Over 20 of these?
So yeah, these were, in the sinking, they would have just scattered across the debris field. So we recovered this one in '93.
Super cool. How many people could fit in the lifeboats here?
Depending on which lifeboat type, depending on the lifeboat type, you could get about 60 in a lifeboat, but they didn't have enough for everyone on board. So, and a lot of people didn't want to get in the lifeboats because the ship was warm, the ship was lit, and getting in the lifeboats at first was not something people wanted to do, so that's why so many went off unfull.
Right. What a tragedy. What an absolute tragedy. Look
terrible.
at this here. This is amazing and very impressive at the same time. We've got actual bowls and benches and plates.
Yeah, this is where we really tell a little bit more of the story of the recovery effort. So we're the salvor in possession of Titanic. We're the only ones allowed to recover artifacts. And so this is where we show you what the artifact looked like on the seafloor when we recovered it, and then you can see it in the case right in front of you. So it's that really amazing story of conservation and preservation and being able to tell the story directly through the artifacts.
And you've actually replicated it identical right here.
Exactly.
The plates. Wow.
We've laid the plates out exactly as they were stacked in the cabinet when it landed.
This is such an amazing exhibit. We need to give the people watching that want to come down and check this out the website where they can get more information.
Oh, sure, yeah, absolutely. They can go to expotitanic.com/Toronto to get information about tickets.
Opening Friday.
Opening Friday.
All the way until January. And this last part that you're about to show me right now, I never even thought this would be possible. I dreamt about it because I've been curious about the Titanic, like the world is for many, many years. You can actually, tell us what's about to go on right here, right now.
So this is a piece of the hull. And you can actually touch a piece of Titanic here. So we've conserved this piece, but we've also, we allow people to touch Titanic by sticking their finger right in here. And you can feel history, you can feel how thick and heavy that steel is that made up Titanic's hull.
Wow, like I've got goosebumps all over. We're touching the Titanic.
Yeah.
It's one of those things in history that globally
everybody knows Titanic.
Everybody knows
it's endlessly fascinating. There's 2,200 lives on board, and so you have endless stories, you have endless fascination. And you can really see, I love these pieces because you can see the trauma of the sinking, but you can also see the hope and you can see the recovery.
Thomasina, thank you very much for showing us around. I know there's so much more to see, but we'll leave that for you to come on down yourself and check it out. We gave the website, maybe we'll end with it one more time.
Yeah, of course, expotitanic.com/Toronto for tickets.
And then this is the debut of this too, so you don't want to miss this exhibit. We're gonna send it, thank you very much again, Thomasina. We're gonna send it back to the studio for the bright spot.
Rick, quickly before I let you go, I know you're so intrigued by this. Touching the hull right there, tell me what you're feeling, because it is this huge history moment right there.
So this is a heavy, thick piece of metal, and it's got a lot of texture to it as well.
Yeah, the texture is just from the deterioration over time and all the bacteria that eats it, because this is a piece of steel. So there's a bacteria at the seafloor that will actually eat away at the steel.
So this would have been smooth back in when they were constructing
it would have been much more smooth.
The seawater has deteriorated over the years, Devo. But this is absolutely incredible. I've never been to an exhibit like this. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Devo, you got to get down here, check this out.